Hey Portland, it's executive producer John Notarianni inviting you to become a CityCast Portland neighbor. Now, you might have heard us talk about our membership program before. Well, we've given it a new name because neighborliness is at the heart of what CityCast is all about. You know, think about the person who reminds you that recycling pickup day is tomorrow, or maybe who fills you in on the latest neighborhood gossip. When you support us, you'll be keeping this daily podcast going and helping to make the city a better place to live. Plus, for $10 a month, you'll get the satisfaction of not only supporting our work, but also some great perks like ad-free listening, exclusive events and meetups, a curated weekly roundup of what to do around town, and the chance to shout out your favorite local nonprofit or business here on the show. And if you do join this week, we'll send you out our exclusive CityCast Portland neighbor mug as a thank you. Let's redefine what it means to be a good Portland neighbor. Head to membership.citycast.fm to join today.
You can make a difference in someone's life, including your own, with a job in home care. These jobs offer flexible schedules, health care, retirement options, and free training. They also provide paid time off and opportunities for overtime. Visit OregonHomeCareJobs.com to learn more and apply. That's OregonHomeCareJobs.com.
Summer in Portland can feel like one long party. The days are longer, more people are outside walking around, and for months, you can't go a day without seeing large groups of people dressed in homemade costumes, blasting music, and biking all around our city. And that's because for over 20 years, Portland's premier summer bike festival, Pedalpalooza, has helped organize rides, which includes the World Naked Bike Ride and a variety of other bike-related activities. But this year, they're changing the festival's name to Bike Summer, and we wondered why the name change. What's going on? So today on CityCast Portland, we're talking with Lillian Karabayic, host of OPB's Weekend Edition and a longtime Pedalpalooza ride organizer. She's filling us in on the festival's growth, giving us a little preview, and sharing how you can join in on the fun. It's Monday, May 19th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Before Lillian and I get to talking, I wanted to say this is the final week of our membership campaign. I know you've heard us go on about a lot of different benefits of the CityCast Portland membership, but there's one that's particularly special and absolutely new. It's the neighborhood shoutouts. It's basically this. When you're a member, you get to submit a local business that you love or a nonprofit that's doing great work to better the city, and we'll shout it out on the podcast and in the Hey Portland newsletter. It's almost like a metaphorical bulletin board or a high five. Lillian, do you have a local business or organization that you think is making Portland extra special that you would want to shout out right now?
I mean, I'm stuck on the metaphorical bulletin board. I think you mean electronic and not metaphorical.
Metaphorical. Because it's not quite a bulletin board.
But it's not a metaphor for a bulletin board.
Do you think it is a bulletin board?
I think it is a bulletin board. My neighborhood thing I'm going to shout out is the World Naked Bike Ride, because they put a lot of work into making a really fun event every year, and it's all volunteers just committed to getting people naked in the streets of Portland. And, that's phenomenal.
See, folks, just like that. We want this show to shine a light on what makes this city great. And as a CityCast Portland neighbor, you're going to help us do that. So become a CityCast Portland neighbor by going to membership.citycast.fm. It's only $10 a month, and it allows us to keep sharing that metaphorical spotlight. Did I use that one correctly?
I don't think so either.
Okay. That's membership.citycast.fm. Thank you. Well, let's get into Bike Summer. So for the uninitiated, what exactly is Bike Summer? Because I've heard it as Pedalpalooza. Is there a rebrand? Like, what is happening now?
It's actually a return to the roots.
Oh, okay.
So the first answer is they're the same thing. Bike Summer is what we are calling it now, and it's what it was originally called. So it is an open source bike festival in Portland metro area, because we also have rides in Vancouver and Beaverton and Oregon City. But the whole idea is that anybody can create a ride, and there's a centralized calendar. And the whole idea is to just encourage people to ride bikes. That's it. That's the beginning and end of the story. And there's a ride for everything. So originally, the whole Bike Summer Festival was conceived of as like a thing that rotated which city hosted it each year.
Oh.
And so it moved around the world, actually. And in 2000...
Portland was like, nope, we're going to keep it.
Well, in 2002, it came to Portland, and people got really, really into it. The group called Shift, which was the nonprofit entity behind Pedalpalooza, they just were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We love this so much. And they even got like a specially branded beer to be made.
Ooh.
And the next year, everybody was like, no, we want to do Bike Summer again. But, technically it was supposed to move cities every year. So there were two camps. There was the Zoo Bomb camp, which are people that ride children's bikes down the hill at the zoo every Sunday night. Been also going on since 2002. They wanted to have mini bike summer, meaning small bike summer for children's bikes. And then some of the other people wanted to have mini bike summer. So...
So like a smaller bike summer?
A smaller bike summer, because it used to be all summer. And what ended up happening is they kind of split into two events. So there's Mini Bike Winter, which is run by the Zubon people, and it happens in February. And that's where they have all sorts of really wild bike punk things like the Chariot Wars, where you make chariots out of children's bicycles and then fight with flames and all sorts of weird things in like abandoned parking lots. And then kind of, I would say more mainstream, but it's mainstream only in a Portland sense.
Yeah.
Is Pedalpalooza, which was originally like only a week long, and it was meant to be the mini bike summer. And then it started getting longer and longer every year because there were so many rides. Then the pandemic happened, and, a lot of rides were canceled in 2020. And then in 2021, as some rides were coming back, they wanted to encourage social distancing and not have like these big, massive rides where everybody would be breathing on each other. So they made it 3 months long, and it became bike summer again. So it's all of June, July, and August. Last year, there were over 800 rides listed. So there truly is a ride for everyone.
Yeah. So it's going back to bike summers. And is this going to be a thing like every summer is now bike summer?
Every summer is bike summer in Portland.
Hey, okay. So clearly you've been a biking enthusiast for many years. Immediately, I know that you led the massive Bowie versus Prince ride for 9 years. That's the one that I remember seeing, because how can you not see that? It's fantastic.
Huge.
Yeah, it's huge. My favorite is like when you guys throw down in certain areas. Do you know, I think last time it was many years, it was on Killingsworth, and there were these boom boxes, and then there was a Bowie clan, and there was a Prince clan, and it was just throw down. There was no fighting, but there was a lot of attitude.
We even one year had a 3-way tug of war bracket between the Morrissey ride, the Prince ride, and the Bowie ride. So what happened is when I started that ride, it was just like a random idea I had. I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, like Bowie versus Prince. And I didn't expect it to be as big as it was. That was back when Pedalpalooza was only 2.5 weeks long. And so if you had a big kind of party ride, you would often end up being scheduled against other big party rides. And the ride got really big. Towards the end, it was over 1,000 people.
Holy shit.
Once I realized I couldn't not organize it anymore, I made a list of all the things I wanted to happen on the ride. So when I made this list, gay marriage wasn't even legal yet, but I was like, I want a real cosplay wedding between a Bowie cosplayer and a Prince cosplayer. I want a choreographed dance battle. I want a tug of war. I wanted a photo booth. I mean, really quite a lot of things. And I successfully accomplished all of those categories. And so I ended up deciding, this is the time to put it to bed. Bowie and Prince died in the same year. And so I kind of thought, okay, this is our final ride, a celebration of their life, and we'll kind of move on.
I gotta ask, in this ride, were you Bowie or Prince?
I was always Bowie. Because I'm me, I need to have a themed costume for everything, and I can't possibly repeat it. So every year I had to sew a new Bowie costume. So I have 9 or 10 Bowie costumes, and I ended up, because I have so many of them, I teach personal finance as one of the things that I do. I give workshops, and for free, I will come dressed as the Bowie of your choice if you like. because I have all of these like really elaborate Bowie costumes.
Oh my God, that's amazing. It's no longer happening is what I'm hearing. It got put to bed.
It got put to bed, but there are plenty of other rides for Bowie, Prince, and other musical glam rock star enthusiasts.
Chapel Roan was the last year's, which was amazing.
There's Chapel Roan. There's a Madonna ride. There's a Britney Spears ride. There's a Backstreets and Backstreets ride where you ride Backstreets listening to the Backstreet Boys. There's really, really anything you could possibly want music-wise. And if there isn't, start it. That's what's so cool about Pedalpalooza. If you have an idea, it doesn't even have to be fully baked. Just put it on the calendar. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
There's one in there that's a pasta costume ride. And the whole idea is you just make a costume out of pasta. Rigatoni, fettuccine.
Oh, like dried pasta?
There was no requirement it be dried or wet. It's up to you.
Oh, gotcha.
Like people will go out of their way to make a costume out of pasta and then show up and ride bikes dressed in a pasta costume. Where else in the world is that true? Probably not that many places.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, let's get into like the nitty gritty. If someone's listening and then their mind is getting blown and they're like, oh my God, I want to take part. Let's get into those details as soon as we get back. Paint Care has 3 simple rules to help you paint smarter. 1, buy only what you need. Determining the right amount of paint for your next project can be tricky, but tips like measuring your space and asking your local paint store for advice will help ensure you have enough for your project while minimizing waste. 2, use up what you have. Look around your house and find simple DIY projects where you can use up your paint. Or you could give away your leftover paint to friends, neighbors, or community groups who could benefit from it. 3, recycle the rest at convenient locations like your neighborhood paint store. Paint Care even offers direct pickups for households and businesses with more than 100 gallons of leftover paint. Learn more or find a paint drop-off site near you at paintcare.org/3simplerules.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
All right. Before I hand the mic off to Lillian, our producer, Julia's actually joining us for a hot minute. Julia, what's up?
Hey, I'm busting in like the Kool-Aid man here to say hello.
The metaphorical Kool-Aid man,
The
Lillian.
metaphorical Kool-Aid man.
Did that one work?
I think that one does. Lillian, we need your stamp of approval.
I think it does.
There we go.
All right, go on, Julia.
So I'm just here very quickly to remind everyone again that we're in the last week of our spring membership campaign, and we have some serious goals that we want to reach, and they're right around the corner. So we still need to get at least 12 new members to sign up today to stay on track for our goal. So we really need your support. Supporting us is how you'll continue to hear the inside scoop on everything happening around town, like dressing up in a pasta costume to do Bike Summer. And not only that, if you sign up right now, during this week, we're gonna send you a limited edition CityCast Portland Neighbors mug. But that's only if you sign up this week. And personally, I think it's a mug that all your neighbors will be jealous of. So you may wanna get your name in there so we can send you one. And so you can support our show. It's only $10 a month. And if you wanna go ahead, get that mug, support what we're doing, go to membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm to get that mug.
Love it. Julia, honestly, when have you seen a mug and you're just like, God damn, I'm so jealous.
Plenty of times I'm at someone's house having a nice tea or a coffee and I'm like, wow, this is the mug right here. Like you feel like a little
I think about
connection.
this often.
Really? Wait, there's mug envy? We have
There's
mug envy.
So
no, I had no idea.
we temporarily moved into a studio 23 months ago. It was supposed to be for like 6 months. We've been living in a studio, so we each only got one mug.
Oh.
So I think a lot about what is like a good mug because all the other mugs are in storage.
And guess what, Lillian? I also live in a studio, so I think this is a studio
Maybe this
thing.
is what is a studio thing.
Maybe.
And I have a feeling that this CityCast Portland neighbors mug is going to be that mug. So I'm just saying, folks, you got to get on it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to doubt your pitch, Julia. I'm just here in my spacious 2-bedroom home, and I'm just swimming in mugs. And I'm like,
I don't
what
want to
is
hear
this
it.
mug
I'm
envy?
leaving. I'm leaving.
Okay, bye, Julia.
What was that? Membership.citycast.fm?
That's membership.citycast.fm. Thanks for asking, Lillian. So Bike Summer, right around the corner. We kind of discuss a little how people can get involved, but for the newbies, let's just discuss these routes. Are they difficult? Like, what should people expect?
That's a really important question because I think a lot of people get very intimidated by the idea of like, leave aside the pasta costumes. The idea of riding bikes in a group, especially if you have this perception that it's going to be like a 50-mile ride and like mobbed with people and you need to have spandex and the right gear and someone's going to make fun of your bike. Here's what I love about Pedalpalooza. Every time I go to other cities, it's so rare to find a ride like you can find every single day during Pedalpalooza, which is like, usually they don't go very far. They're often kid-friendly. They're cargo bike-friendly. A lot of them will publish the route ahead of time. All you have to do to kind of make a determination about if you're going to go to a ride, you go to either pedalpalooza.org or bike-summer.org, and that has a calendar. There are a bunch of things, like if it's intended for kids or kids are welcome, or if maybe they're going to go to places that are 21 plus. It will also tell you the route length for most rides. So it'll tell you, like, is it 0 to 4 miles? Is it 5 to 8? And that'll give you a good idea of, like, your confidence level. I would say for almost all rides, you should bring a lock. I would recommend bringing either a U-lock or, like, a quality chain lock, because usually there's stops. Like, most of these rides are not, like, go fast, go 50 miles. They're, like, go 5 and stop at the park. And so if you have a U-lock, it just makes it easier. You're probably going to end up locking to another bike, like someone you come with. I recommend bringing snacks. Often, like, there will be stops, but you don't want to have to wait in line for a really long time for stops, unless you're on a ride like the taco ride, where you will absolutely be stopping for tacos and you probably don't want to bring anything with you. And always bring water. Some rides might encourage you to bring other libations if they are, you know, like they're going to stop at a park at the end and maybe you want to bring some nice, you know, drinks, whatever. Most of the information should be available in the ride listing. Now, here's what I have to say. Costumes end up being a big part of most of the rides that I come to. I would recommend, don't stress yourself. If you are not a costume person like me, but you're like, really want to go on the Britney Spears ride, but you're like, I do not own any hot pants, you can just show up. Like, people will be happy to have you there, even if you don't have it. Don't get intimidated by feeling like you're not going to be dressed up enough. It's about friends. It's about community. It's not about, like, being incredibly judgmental. I'm sure there's one ride that's like the judgmental ride, but, you know, don't go on that if you don't.
There's the judgmental ride. Yeah, I've heard of that one. You were talking about food rides. My friend went on a bread ride last year, and she went to all these amazing bakeries. And I got to say, she came all the way to St. John's for like this one bakery that's open like 3 hours on a Sunday. And I just was like, wow, this bike ride, like, not only is it super niche, but it actually did hit the best bakeries, you know?
That's what's so cool about it. Is like, I like to use it as an excuse when I lead rides to do things that I always mentally say I'm going to do, like ride around to all the best bakeries or like hit the place that's only open for 3 hours. But you've got that like accountability of you're leading other people there. I think what people don't realize is the bikes are just the tool. So the whole point of Pedalpalooza, it's like that fortune cookie trope where you put in bed at the end of your fortune.
Yeah.
Except it's on bikes. So it could be anything. It's like, I like looking at heritage trees on bikes. I like dressing up in a pasta costume on bikes. I like hanging out with other architects on bikes. Like, on my birthday, there's a ride called just like the Private Investigators Ride. And it's just going to be a bunch of PIs hanging out and telling stories about being a PI.
I want to be there. I want to be there. Those are the best stories.
Absolutely.
So much cheating. I want to hear every gosh darn story. Okay, wait. Let's talk about I know you're hosting one.
Okay.
The dress like your MySpace profile picture ride. Give us the pitch, and then I need to know your costume.
Okay. So the pitch is ride like it's 2005.
Okay.
The whole idea is just like, I kind of wanted to tap into nostalgia. I had this dumb idea. And I decided, yeah, let's do it as a ride. So it's 20 years now since 2005, which is rude. And
very rude.
the whole idea for the ride is you come dressed as your 2005 self, either your MySpace profile picture, or if maybe you were a little young, like you were a child in 2005, come dressed as your best, like 2005 emo scene kid, or Tom from MySpace. And
we're going to get so much Toms. I swear to God. It's going to be a Tom ride.
We have a plan to try to get all the people dressed as Tom, because it's a super easy costume.
Yeah.
You just wear a white shirt. We're going to try to get them all lined up in front of like a fake whiteboard and do like a mass Tom photo. But it's on June 22nd. I think it's going to be very fun. We're going to blast like emo scene kid music the whole time. Like there will be a lot of Rilo Kiley and Bright Eyes and, you know, Dashboard Confessional, lots of that kind of music.
Oh, what's your costume?
I broke out. I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse, but I still fit into my Bright Eyes t-shirt from like circa 2003. So I will be rocking a Bright Eyes concert t-shirt. And then I'm going to try to like cantilever myself into my black skinny jeans from that era. We will see if I can get them on, let alone ride my bike in them.
Oh my God. How many miles in skinny jeans?
It's going to be a short ride, I'm going to say.
Okay.
I think it's probably going to be like 5 to 8 miles with very frequent stops.
Because of the skinny jeans, let's be honest.
I don't know. I biked in skinny jeans for many, many years. I think the key is a little bit of spandex.
Well, that sounds awesome. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask about breakfast on the bridges, because this isn't part of Bike Summer, right?
Well, pretty much any bike event that happens during the summer is part of Bike Summer. Like, Breakfast on the Bridges is part of Pedalpalooza in that it comes out of the same organization.
Gotcha.
Kind of the same group of people in 2002 that decided to do things. One of them was this thing called Breakfast on the Bridges. And it's as simple as it sounds. Pre-social media days, the whole idea was on the last Friday of the month from 7 to 9 a.m., you can tell people about rides that are coming up by handing them out coffee and donuts while they're commuting to work. And so that's the whole kind of concept behind Breakfast on the Bridges. I've been volunteering for it for 18 years. We've been around since 2002. It's the last Friday of every month. So yeah, we've already had four
of
this
every
year.
month in the year?
Every month in the year, yes.
I didn't understand. I just thought it was like Pedalpalooza. This happens in the summer.
No, it happens all the time. We've rotated what bridges we've been on over the years, but currently we operate on 4 bridges simultaneously the last Friday of the month. So we do the Blumenauer Bridge, the Steel Bridge, the Tillicum Crossing, and what bridge am I missing? Flanders,
Yeah.
yes. And then we do pop-ups occasionally. So one of my favorite pop-ups, which we will be doing during Bike Summer this year, it might be on 4th of July, which is kind of funny because it's normally for a work commute, but it sounds fun, is the Selwood Bridge. And the new Selwood Bridge is a phenomenal place to host Breakfast on the Bridges. It has like the best view of any bridge, and I've been on all of them for Breakfast on the Bridges, and I long to do an I-205 bridge pop-up because I commute over that to go to the ice skating rink in Vancouver. I see like maybe at best 2 other bikers when I cross that bridge.
It's so
but
crazy. Imagining a Breakfast on the Bridge on the I-205 bridge, because it's so loud and like...
It's really loud. I was always thinking it would be good to do with the Vancouver Bicycle Club because they're like pretty involved. But if we did it at the crossing of the Marine Bike Path with 205, it's like not quite as loud as it is physically on the bridge, but we'll still be like up on a bridge because it's like there's a really long entrance. And maybe some people that decide they don't want to bike to Vancouver could still stop by.
Okay, well, I mean, you guys haven't come to St. John's, but I get it. It's a very narrow bridge.
Whenever someone complains about what bridge we're not on, we'll say, we'll help you start one.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like, even I wouldn't want to be on that. I don't know if you've been on the St. John's Bridge. It's really narrow.
I mean, I feel like you could do it on the approach coming up from Cathedral Park. Like, there's like a little bit of an area there where I think it might be kind of good. But yes, I agree.
Well, Lillian, as always, pleasure to have you on. You can't see her, but she is wearing these bright yellow bicycle earrings, but like full on bikes. Like, I'm part of me
These
wonders.
are my actual bike. It's because I have a custom bike. And it's
That is
my
so
actual
cool.
bike.
Plus, she's wearing a shirt that's just nothing but bikes. I love that you totally themed. I mean, I'm going to assume it was because of us.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Just like-
This is my parting note. If you have an idea for a ride and you're like, why does this ride not exist? Put it on the calendar. There's a whole ride leading comic. There's even some workshops that happen at the beginning of Pedalpalooza if you've never led a ride before about like how to plan a route and how to like promote it. It is really meant to be an open source festival. Anybody can do it. And it is one of my favorite things about living in the city and how wonderful and creative people are on bikes.
Thanks again, Lillian. Before we head out, I just wanted to take the time to shout out our new CityCast Portland neighbors. A big thanks to Daniel M., Heidi F., Dennis K., Margaret H., Rachel C., Corby R., Jillian K., Christopher C., Charlotte R., and Laura D. You're getting your enviable mugs sent to you very soon. And if you haven't joined, this is me inviting you to become my metaphorical neighbor by heading over to membership.citycast.fm. That's membership.citycast.fm. Well, that's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.